Here we go. Rick Scott calls for an immediate trial or immediate hearing to contest what he calls fraud or corruption taking place in Broward County and Palm Beach because the results are coming in slow. Now, in calling this trial, the judge sides with Rick Scott in an emergency hearing. That's breaking news. Now, in siding with Rick Scott, the judge said that it needs to be an immediate ballot count by 7 p.m. I don't think that ballot count is taking place, and it is beyond 7 p.m. I'll read it. This is getting interesting. A judge ordered Broward County Supervisor election Dr. Brenda Snipes, she's a doctor, that's interesting, to allow immediate inspection of voter records during an emergency hearing on Friday. The judge was asked to intervene in the tight U.S. Senate race between Democrat U.S. Senator Bill Nelson, and Republican Governor Rick Scott as the two sides prepare for a possible recount. Judge Carol Lisa Phillips said that Snipes must allow inspections on or before 7 p.m. Friday evening. Phillips found that Snipes violated the law, again, by failing to turn over their information to attorneys for Scott's Senate campaign and the National Republican Senatorial Committee. Isn't it amazing? When cheating takes place, and it's supposedly on the Democratic side, we don't even know if it's cheating. Republicans are very assertive in getting involved. When the opposite is true, we'll let it pass. Al Gore, we'll let it pass. Hillary Clinton, will let it pass. That's amazing. Lawyers for Snipes argued that requiring such a swift response would interfere with the ongoing efforts to finish counting Broward County's ballots, but lawyers for Scott contended that the information is already required to be collected under state law and should take minutes to provide. Scott filed the lawsuit Thursday night against asking the court to order Snipes to turn over several records detailing the counting and the collection of ballots. But Snipes' attorney said in court Friday that it would be inappropriate for the court to intervene at this time simply because Scott wants the counting process to be sped up. Isn't it amazing? When it was George W. Bush, we don't need the counting to take place. We don't need that to happen. Now, in this case, it's the Democrats saying, well, I guess in both cases, the Democrats wanted the counting to take place. But I just want to draw attention to how Republicans are perfectly willing to attack the process itself, whereas Democrats were skittish about doing that. Democrats, in this respect, need to be more like Republicans and willing to let the shit burn and trying to get their person over the finish line. But Snipes' attorney said in court, right. The attorney said Snipes is not refusing to turn over the records, but needed more time to do so. Scott's thin lead over Nelson has narrowed during the vote counting in the days since he declared victory Tuesday night. Without citing any evidence of wrongdoing, Scott has asked the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to investigate election offices in the Democratic strongholds of Palm Beach and Broward counties. You've showed no wrongdoing. How are you asking them to investigate wrongdoing when there is no evidence of wrongdoing? Questioning whether they've been taking too long since some sort of effort to inflate the Democratic vote. However, the FDLE has said it is not investigating Snipes at this time as no allegations of voter fraud has been received and Scott has not put his request in writing. He has nothing. He's making assertions. He's pulling this out of his ass. Is it possible that something shenanigans is going on? Yes, but Scott has no proof of such. They're slow counting the ballots. That's all. Clearly, Scott is trying to stop all the votes from being counted, and he's impeding the democratic process, said Nelson in a recorded video statement. You can see this from the irresponsible, unethical, and unprecedented press statement last night that he's worried and he's desperate. That is true. He is worried and he's desperate because he's seeing it slipping away from him. By the same token, we're 2 days out, and all of a sudden votes were found in an unmarked box or something. I mean, this is lunacy. This woman is a doctor, but she seems utterly incompetent at her job. In one case, she throws away ballots and destroys them. And in this case, it takes 2 days to count the ballots. He's not insane for looking at this saying, what the hell is going on in Broward County? A lawyer for Nelson criticized Scott for using his official position to try to influence the ballot counting. On Friday, Nelson lawyer Mark Elias shot back at Scott on the conference call with reporters saying, just look at the behavior of your governor. Elias said it was not appropriate for a governor to suggest he's going to use his powers to interject his law enforcement authority to prevent the counting of ballots that have been legally cast. Look, the catch is, it is very possible that they're just slow counting those ballots. But yes, it looks horrendous. This looks horrendous. We'll see what happens. But if I'm not mistaken, it is beyond 7 p.m. In Florida. Do you know where your ballot is? I would imagine a lot of people don't if you're in Broward County and Palm Beach. But let's be very clear. Every vote should be counted. And Rick Scott should not impede that process. By the same token, the judge is not necessarily wrong for saying that she needs to turn over the information that Rick Scott asked for, if that's within legal discretion. So this is where we are. The judge is saying Snipes broke the law again, violated the law. Is saying turn over the information that Scott wants, as he is legally allowed to get that information, as she is supposedly needs to provide it. Provided by 7 p.m. Snipes says this is too soon to provide that information, and the judge and the governor is trying to impede the voting process. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. If you enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe, and you can always support the content through PayPal or Patreon. As my wife says, even $1 helps. Thanks all.